Hi everyone, welcome back to SlipTwpKnit. My name is Shelby and I come to you from Shelby Township, Michigan, which is where I do my knitting. If you're new, welcome, and also thank you for giving me a shot. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for coming back. If you're new, just a little bit of background around the podcast. My name is Shelby, as I also said, I'm from Shelby Township. The local nickname for Shelby Township is Shelby Twp or the Twipp. So I took that Twipp and I mashed it up with the decreased stitch and knitting slip knit. That's how I got SlipTwpKnit. Anyway, so this is where I talk about the things that I'm knitting, the things I'm making, and that's just kind of what's going on right now. I try to post an episode every other week. I sometimes am horribly inconsistent with that. But that's okay. I do this for fun. So, just to kind of get into it, in the last couple episodes, definitely the last 2 episodes, I've been referring to a finished object that I had finished but was too lazy to go get. So, I grabbed it this time. These are the Joe's Perfect Slipper Socks by cozyupknits, and I knit them holding 2 strands of yarn double. I used Knit Picks Stroll in the Dove Heather color throughout the whole project, but that's also the same, that's also the color I used by itself for the heel, toe, and cuff. And then the purple color is Mint Rain's yarn, and it's her color Blackhearted. So I made these for my mother because I had some stash I wanted to bust. And yeah, this is the second pair of Joe's Perfect Slipper Socks I've made. I did make a pair for my friend Marissa a couple months ago, and I was working on these for a while. I just was not feeling very inspired on sock number 2, so I did eventually push through and I finished them, so that's a good thing. And then I gave them to my mom and she wears them. So that is my finished object for today. I told you I had a finished object. I told you so. Anyway, let's go into whips. So I only have 3 whips today. Same 3 whips as you've been seeing every single week by now. And I'm just trying to push on through and try to do about 30 minutes of knitting each day. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't. So first and foremost, I'll talk about the ones that give me the most heartburn. These are the Thornfield socks by Rachel Coopy. I have knit this sock before specifically. Again, I made a pair for my mom for Christmas last year. And I struggled with those then too. But yeah, so many problems with these socks, just having to start over and over and over and over again. But regardless, these are for my friend Tony. These were meant to be a birthday present, but then COVID happened and I had to restart these socks 4 times. So they're not done. They weren't done in time for Tony's birthday, but I am hoping to have them done by Christmas. I don't think that's too lofty of a goal, but the way 2020 is going, who knows? So this is what they look like. Tony's favorite color is green. And then this is what they look like up close. And it's kind of funny because previously I was not really a fan of cables, but I quite like cables now. I like the challenge that they're kind of providing, but I don't know if anybody else does this because this is a charted pattern and I like charted patterns. I do like charted patterns a lot more than written patterns. But if I see a cable symbol in a knitting pattern, I always have to use my hands to some degree to determine if it's a left or right leaning cable for some reason. So like I'll just, like, you'll watch me and I'll be sitting there and I'll be looking at my hand and going, or that's just what I do. And I'm trying to like, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, cause logically I know, well, on camera I think this is actually my right hand. I think. I don't actually know. I think on camera this might look like my right hand. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't actually know. This is actually my left hand. If I look at it this way, it makes an L that I can see. This is my left hand. I know this is my left hand. I know this is my right hand, but I actually have to like, okay, well, if it's leaning this way, is it left or right leaning? Okay, what about now? Like, I know what to do for a left or right leaning cable. I just have to remember when I'm looking at a chart, do I go this way? Okay, if I go this way, is it left or right? That's my cable story. For some reason, I'm liking cables now-ish, I think. We'll see. If I get through these socks, I'll try another cable pattern. Actually, I have another cable pattern. Just kidding. So then, just, you know, I have to do things. Sometimes I just can't wrap my head around stuff. It's okay. It happens. So that's those. So the big news, and the big news with this sock specifically is I think last time I showed it, I was still on the heel flap. So by now I have, at this point what I've done is I've completed the heel flap, turned the heel, and I'm actually, yesterday I actually finished the gusset. So now I'm just knitting up the rest of the foot. So I'm like, on this specific sock, I'm 3/4 of the way done, which means pretty soon, God willing, I will have a half finished object or a hoe next time, which would be really nice. Also, this is Berroco Ultra Wool Fine, and it's their fingering weight in the color Rosemary. I've mentioned that Tony's favorite color is green, but I really like this yarn. So I'm gonna see if they have, I'm gonna keep looking at like my Ultra Wool, see, because I know that they have other, I think they have DK and worsted weight for the Ultra Wool, and if they have this Rosemary color, I might incorporate it into a project for myself at some point. I kind of have one picked out, but I really like the texture of the wool. It's kind of like, it's 100% superwash, but it looks and feels kind of like a woolly wool, if that makes sense. And then for my next whip is going to be my Vintage Fairy Lights socks. So you've seen these a few times by now. This is a sock pattern by Helen Stewart, or Curious Handmade. I feel like this is a pretty popular pattern from her, and up close, I mean, the stitch pattern gets kind of lost on the camera, unfortunately, but I really like the stitch pattern. If you're looking at it in person, it's very clear, which is nice, but, and this is almost done. I should probably just I just need to get over myself. I need to, you know, hit pause on those Thornfield socks and just finish these up because I'm almost done. At this point, what I've done here, and you'll see I've been tying knots with spare yarn, like I've been using scrap yarn as stitch markers or progress keepers on this. But anyway, at this point, I have also turned a heel on this one. Yay. And now I'm knitting the foot, which is where I'm at. See this little sheep? The little sheep dude is where I was last time. And I hadn't turned the heel yet. So, yay. Working on that still. And then my final whip, which is one that I haven't made a whole lot of progress on, but I did make some progress, is my Winter Wonderland socks. This is a knitting pattern by Melinda Mazur. She's also on, I think she's on Revelry and Instagram as Rye Flower Knits. So last time I showed them, I was in the middle of the heel. I did a fish lips kiss heel on this, and last time I was literally just in the middle of the heel somewhere. So I finished turning the heel on it. So now I really just need to print out the pattern, to be very honest. But now I gotta go back to working on this pattern here, which up close you can see it's a snowflake. And the yarn I'm using here is Orange Flower, and that's her MCN base in the color Ice Crystal. And I love this yarn. It's so soft, it's so pretty, and I really think that this is just knitting up real nice. But yeah, it's pretty fun. This is another one. I'm using the cable needle sometimes. I am using the cable needle on this pattern. So there is a little bit of cabling, but in the scheme of things, it's a really nice pattern. It's a charted pattern, but I do believe she has written directions in the pattern as well, if charts aren't your thing. So that's all of my whips right now. So I'm only 12 minutes in. That's okay. I'm trying to think. I'm actually filming this on my lunch break because I wanted to take some advantage of the light in my room being in this side of the house. But yeah, that's where I am. That's what I'm doing. Nothing too crazy. I do want to keep trucking. I've kind of made it a goal to finish those 3 sock projects by the end of September, so we'll see what happens. It is now the beginning of August. But I think I can do it. I'm almost done with the 1 pair. I need to remind myself of that. I really need to work on those and finish them so I don't have to worry about them. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of other knitting talk to talk about right now. I have so many things I want to do, but I have been feeling, I don't know, like I don't want to say I'm feeling monogamous with my knitting, but I'm just not feeling like knitting or something right now, and just trying to put in a few minutes every day just for the sake of, you know, working on those projects and getting them knocked out. I have other projects I need to finish too, so I really just am trying to focus on not buying any more yarn and working through the projects that I currently have before I cast anything new on, which is admittedly not very fun, but probably necessary. Outside of knitting, I think I'll probably keep it a little short. I was feeling talkative at the beginning of this week, and I have no idea what happened, to be very honest. I was like, I'm gonna talk about this, I'm gonna talk about this, I'm gonna talk about this. And this morning I thought, I don't know what I want to talk about now. But I did want to talk about a little bit about work, kind of, not really. So I did go back to the office. I did go back to the office for work, which is great. I've gotten used to working from home, but I do want to kind of try and get my routine back on schedule, which in the beginning of COVID, I was like, I can't let my routine go away. Yeah, that didn't happen. My routine went right out the window at the beginning of COVID. So now I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. So the office has opened. They've only allowed so many of us back right now. But a lot of people don't want to go back yet. So it was just, if you want to go back, you can, but you have to complete training and stuff. So we are taking we are taking necessary measures for people who do want to go back into the office. So I'm only going back a couple of days a week, but just trying to get back into the routine, trying to get back into the swing of things, go back to the office. That's kind of like my adventure for the week too, is I'm just trying to, it gets me out of the house. it gets me out of the house. So in the scheme of things, that's really about it. I'm just trying to make sure that, you know, I'm up, I'm ready to go, I have everything ready, I've packed my lunch, I've done all that stuff, and I can go back, you know, be dressed and presentable and ready to go back into the office, which is going to take a while. I'm interested to see how long it takes before everybody is back into the office, because we do have quite a lot of people in the office right now. Well, not right now, but you know, we have a lot of people working in my office, is my point. But I also know they're not gonna make people come back before they're comfortable with it, which is a very nice thing about where I work. One, they've always allowed people to work from home to a degree. We're allowed a couple days where, you know, generally we're allowed 1 day a week where we can work from home, so that is nice. I never did it before, but I actually think I might do it now, because I kind of gotten used to working from home and I kind of like it. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with work. Not that anybody really wanted to know. And then the other thing I've been doing over the last month and a half is I've actually been doing, like, I call them coffee dates, but they're just like video chats with people from work. We use our Microsoft Teams, and we just have like a little video chat for about a half hour with our morning coffee, and that's been really helpful. And it's kind of been nice because through all of this, there have been people that I talk to consistently, mostly people on my team, but a couple people who aren't on my team. But it's just been really nice the last couple weeks, because I've been thinking, you know, there are just people in the office that I miss, and they weren't necessarily even people that I regularly like interacted with or talked to, but just kind of like, you know, I think maybe I would like to talk to them now, or I'd like to talk to them more often. And so it kind of puts me a little bit out of my comfort zone reaching out to people. But I've been reaching out to people, been having, you know, video chats every now and again with people. And just, I've been really enjoying that. So if you are working from home away from your office and you haven't tried having a coffee date with someone, that might be something to consider. It just might be kind of fun. This morning I had my morning coffee with my mentor, who's also my former manager, but he and I, you know, we just had, I don't remember what he was eating. I was eating peanut butter toast, because he doesn't drink coffee, so we didn't have coffee, but we had breakfast. So that was fun. And then that's the state of the world right now. Otherwise, I've been watching the Olympics channel, because that's the closest thing I'm going to get to any Olympic Games this year. I am bitter. I will admit it. What time is it? Okay. I am going to get going because my lunch break is almost over. So thank you for taking the time to tune in today and watch me. Hopefully I'm going to take notes and write down what I want to talk about next time. That's what I'm going to do. I'd like to be a little bit more talkative. So I'll talk to you again soon, hopefully. All right, everybody have a great day and stay safe out there. Happy knitting.